Hello, everybody. Father Scott Vanderveer here to wrap up this series on aging gracefully. And in the last episode, I talked about the two halves of life, the task of containing the ego in stage one, once we've made some successes and been able to live well as a person who's been given gifts and is meant to use them to make the world a better place. But then we have to be willing to move into the second stage, which is to expand our soul and to get ready to leave this earth and live with God in eternity. It is interesting that we work so hard to be successful in the first half of life, because success is really important for building and shaping and then managing the ego. We have to know that we can earn a living, that we can use the gifts we were given, that we are not failing to be the person God made us to be. We need to know that and feel that. However, there could be a temptation to keep wanting to stay there, to Botox ourselves to be in our 30s forever, to want to take drugs or have growth hormone or stem cells to allow us to never have to age into a developmentally appropriate second half of life. Many people have said that while success is very important early in life to become who we need to be, we have to work hard to earn some trophies and some ribbons. We have to be willing to make the sacrifices to get as good a grade in the class as we can, to go on to the best college that we can manage to go to do all of the things in the appropriate order. But then, many say after age 30 or so, success has nothing left to teach us. Woo! What a thought that is. After age 30, what if success has nothing more to teach us? What if success after age 30 is just relearning the same lessons over and over again? I think we can see this in some famous older people who don't act wisely. We're meant to age into wisdom. We're meant to let go of ego and move into the soul. And that soul territory is not about acquiring, it's about letting go. It's not about being right. It's about saying, you may be right. It's not about earning material things. It's about making room in our life for spiritual things. That may sound like, that's not very fun. What's so fun about that? What's so good about that? In which case, when we have those feelings, which are natural, we're experiencing the tantalizing temptation to remain in the first half of life perpetually. But that actually makes no sense. We're not going to enjoy heaven very much if we get there hoping to compete with everybody who's there. Heaven is a realm where there's no competition. Heaven is a realm where no one's in charge except God. Heaven is not a place of striving. Striving connotes wanting or lacking, trying to fill a gap, trying to create a filling for what's missing, for an emptiness. Heaven's not like that. So the work of the second half of life is getting us ready for a realm of complete fulfillment where we don't have to strive ever again. That is something that we really need to ponder. Is it that God designed us brilliantly? No surprise, I guess. But that our bodies would start to fall apart right on time. Those of us who are trying to live forever in beautiful, sleek bodies are learning decade by decade, woo, this is an impossible job. And And that is perhaps very instructive for us because we weren't meant to live forever. And while we're alive, we're not meant to keep living the first half of life over and over again. There's a lot of people who keep wanting to be good boys and girls, even though they're at an age where they should be wisdom figures. There's a lot of food for thought here about what is developmentally appropriate for me right now. How much time do I spend on my ego? And how much time do I spend on my soul? That sounds like a false choice, right? Because it's like, well, ego is bad and soul is good. But of course, we can't demonize the ego. God gave it to us for a reason, and we need it for the first half of life. God wants us to be individuals. You've never met another you, and you never will. And no one else has ever met another you or another whomever. We were meant to be as unique as fingerprints. But there comes a time when we also have to realize the fact that we are a wave does not mean we're not part of the ocean. We are part of the ocean, even though we are waves in the ocean. Our individuality as waves does not take us away from the ocean, and a wave crashes on the shore and disappears, but it's still a part of the ocean. Oh, do you see why this could be talked about forever? God, we ask you to help us on our journey. Please be with us in the first half of life as we work so hard to use the gifts you have given us to glorify you and make a life that makes the world a better place. And help us to be willing to make the transition to give all that away, to prepare to die before we die so that our death is not so scary and hard. Help us to know that there's nothing to fear in the future since you hold the future. And give us the grace to be willing to go from the first half of life, containing and disciplining the ego, into the second half of life, expanding and flourishing in the soul. And may God bless you all.